I'd always dreamed about building something, you know, even being a kid lashing logs together to go float in a seasonal pond. It's always had that sense of adventure and to be able to just be out on the water. And this is my 17-foot sea kayak that kind of prompted me ultimately building an i550 sailboat. I built it out of cedar, which was left over from a job I had done in Aspen. I had to resaw all the boards and plane them down to 1/4-inch thick stock. Got black walnut down the bottom side, so at least give something for the fish to come up and look at. I just did it because I wanted an artistic touch there. The top sides, I wanted racing stripes, and I was kind of thinking of the 60s muscle cars. Was they had those stripes going down the hood and across the rooftop, and I always loved that look. So I took English ash and then bordered that with black walnut to create longitudinal racing stripes down the length of the kayak, and it just, from sitting inside the cockpit, it's just a great view out the front. Believe it or not, this entire boat was built with a pencil and basically these two tools here. This is a miniature Japanese handsaw. The nice thing about this is it cuts on the pole stroke, so it cuts a really clean cut. It's also very sharp. You got to be really careful. I certainly took some chunks of skin out and bled myself on this project throughout. Same thing with my plane. I ended up using just an old Stanley block plane that was my grandfather's. And was able to get the blade with a 10,000 grit Japanese whetstone, able to get this thing where you literally could shave with it. And so it was very easy to make all these cuts. Every one of these pieces, because of the radius, had to be planed on edge. And so almost every one of these pieces I would start by just, and this hasn't been sharpened recently, and it's still very sharp, is I would have to plane each piece and then get it to interlock with the next one so that I could close up the joint. Traditionally, your wooden boats you have a varnish finish over the epoxy, because your epoxy, although very durable, great strong finish, holds the boat together structurally, has no UV protection in it. So typically, like sailboats, you'll see almost every fiberglass boat is painted. The reason why they paint it isn't to make it look nice, although it does, is to give it UV protection. As much fun as I had building this thing, I really don't like maintenance. So I didn't want to redo varnish every few years. I'm going to end up doing an automotive clear coat over it. And the research, scientific data is there figuring that it'll last 15 years. So I'll have more scratches on it and maybe need to have it refinished in that time, but at least I'm not doing varnish every 4 years. My ultimate plan is maybe a week-long trip on the Great Lakes. I'd also, if I had the time, I would love to do maybe some of the Inside Passage in Alaska with it. And it's designed, this thing is designed, 17-foot sea kayak, and it is designed to handle those kind of rough seas. The entire interior is carbon fiber, so the boat structurally is just super strong. I mean, you could land on rocks with this thing and you're not going to have a problem with it. And it's built for the ages.